It's a warm, humid night. I have my fan on to cool down and my earbuds in for music. I live in a 2-story house. My room's on the 2nd story, so I have a good view of the town I live in. I'm laying in bed vibing out to Foo Fighters when I hear a knock. I'm thinking it's my dad or mom at the door, so I take out my earbuds and head over to the door. Nothing. Nobody's there. I assume it's one of my siblings playing a prank on me, so I just roll my eyes and head back to my bed to lay down and put my earbuds back in. That's when I hear it again. 2 knocks this time instead the singular one before. Except this time it kinda sounded like it wasn't coming from the door. I couldn't completely tell though, as my music was a little loud. I take out my earbuds and head towards the door. Again, nobody. I decided to walk out my room, expecting to see my little brother around a corner or hiding somewhere. But I couldn't see anyone. I decided that I'll shut my door and wait by it and open it when I hear it again and scare my little brother when he knocks. When I close my door not much longer, I hear the knocking again, this time behind me, at my window. I glance over in horror. My curtains blocked the view from outside. I was scared, but I was old enough where I shouldn't be getting scared of things like this. I decided to man up. I'll move the curtains out the way and confront the branch or whatever it was making this knocking sound. I walk over towards my window and remove the curtains. Nothing. My brain is malfunctioning. I'm confused. The knocking sounded like it was coming from the window. It's easy to tell the difference between wood and glass knocking, so whatever's knocking should be here. I back off, no clue of what my next move is. Maybe a woodpecker was at my window? I don't know. I just needed something to make me feel better. I decided to leave the curtain off and go back to my bed, this time without music. Just my thoughts and my phones to get me through what was going on. It took 5 minutes for me to stop thinking about what just happened. I was just frightened and made up stuff in my head to make me scared. That's what it was. It had to be. I glance back over at my window and a silhouette of something is outside. I freeze in place and hope that our eyes didn't meet. I pretend as to not notice whatever it was outside. I'll make a dash for it. No, I'll pretend like I'm going to the bathroom or something and walk out my room. Too late. Knock, knock, knock. It knew. It had to have known I saw it. Why else would it knock right when I look over? I'm fucked. I look over right as I stand up and I meet its gaze. A streetlight outside is on, and whatever it was closer now. I can make out its devilish grin and its pale appearance. Its dry skin and long, greasy hair. Whatever it was, definitely never cared for its hygiene. I run out my room screaming, heading towards the stairs. I hope to God my parents aren't working their night shift. And just in case they are, I'll call the cops and hide. I'll have to get to my brother's before anything, though. Make sure he's safe and hide him before anything. I hear nothing coming from my parents' room. A quick glance outside the front window of the house and the cars are both gone. I head to my brother's room, reaching for my phone to call 911. I don't have my phone on me, though. In the heat of the moment, I forgot it. I had to make a decision. Go to my brother's room and try and hide him before that thing may try to break in. Or grab my phone so we have a chance of escaping this thing if it decides to break in. I hear back up to the stairs, ready to fight this thing if it made its way through my window. When I get to my room, everything is the same. I grab my phone and make haste down the stairs again. Towards my brother's room, 911 already dialed in my phone. I open his door, and nothing. Nothing at all. The light's on, the bed is empty, and the window is open. Jane has always my everything. We met when we were 16, and it was true love at first sight. We were high school sweethearts. I loved her, and she loved me. We finished school with high marks and moved in together. I started my dream job as a lawyer, and she started a small online business. Everything was perfect, and then to top it off, she got pregnant with our son. The pregnancy was smooth, and her and the baby were healthy. We all went home, happy within each other's company. 8 years later, we were sat at the dinner table, talking as we always did. Jane and Joey were laughing while trying to explain something to me. But then my son's face grew cold. Me and my wife looked anxiously at each other, but before we could say anything, Joey blurted, "I need to pack." He gets up and sprints to his room, not even pushing his chair in. I ask Jane what's happened, and she says, "He didn't ask you?" I'm confused. I only got in from work an hour ago, and now my wife thinks my son has asked me something. I shake my head, and she says, "Oh, he is going to a sleepover party with one of his friends. What's that kid's name?" Ollie? Yes, Ollie. I from, and my wife clearly notices. She asks me what's wrong, and I say it's nothing. I dig my fork into the pasta and think. Joey has never brought up an Ollie, but maybe he did when I had a long day. A week passes, and eventually it's time to drop Ollie off. I can't shake a feeling of dread as I watch him walk up to the house. A tall blonde woman opens the door and greets him with a huge smile. I watch as Joey walks into the house, and I can only pray he is okay. Jane drives us home and we eat, talking about Joey. We both sit next to each other and turn on the TV. Jane asks, I've been feeling like this for ages. I feel weird about Ollie. Why have we never heard anything about him? I text his mom to ask how Joey was getting on, and she said it was none of my concern. I turn to face Jane and say, how long ago was this? Half an hour. We both get in the car as I frantically call the police. 999. What's your emergency? My son, I gasp. We dropped him off for a sleepover and we think he is in danger. Please help. Is your son by any chance at somebody's house near the forest in your town? I respond that he is. There is a silence and the woman on the phone says, Sir, nobody has lived there for years. 4 other children are with the boy they've called Ollie. We have already found one child's body. My wife crunches the brakes and she says, the other parents say they have found one child called Joey. He is crying and being taken to the nearest hospital for all his injuries. The other child nowhere to be found. Jane cries in relief and I say, so where did my kid meet Ollie? Sir, Ollie doesn't exist. Hey everyone, I'm always reading this thread, but have never posted any of my own stories on here. Hopefully you guys enjoy this one and excuse my grammar, LOL. So, back when I was in high school, I lived in a typically normal crime rate area. I also want to add that my religion, shamanism, is somewhat based off of spirits and such. This will be important later on. So, here we go. This happened very late at night, I would say around 2-3 a.m. if I remembered correctly. Me and my brother were sleeping next to each other in a big queen's bed. I remember getting woken up by a very loud wailing noise outside the house. I was super spooked and just froze on the spot. For me, it kind of sounds like a woman screaming, wailing for help if she was running from something or someone. Except, there wasn't any words. It was just constant screaming, wailing. And each time it felt like it was coming closer and closer down to the street to our house. I'm even more scared now and I look over at my brother, and he's actually awake looking at the ceiling with his eyes opened. I tried whispering to him if he heard what I'm hearing and he's just ignoring me, period. LOL. I'm like in my head. WTF, I guess. And I'm thinking, oh shit, what if that person does need help? Maybe I should look through the window. Now, at this point, this person or thing sounds like they're literally outside across the street from our house still screaming, wailing. So if I literally take a peek, for sure I will see them. But then I really think to myself, knowing my religion and beliefs, I decided not to because we're big on ghosts and spirits. It's probably why my brother ignored me, because anything can go wrong if this thing had evil intentions and somehow knew we were up trying to catch us off guard. In our beliefs and such, this kind of event is not out of the ballpark. So me and my brother basically just tried our very best to just sleep it off until the next morning. When we woke up, he was like, bro, why did you try to talk to me? We both could have been done for if it was an evil spirit testing us. LOL. Now get this. We live down the block from a cemetery, so it definitely could have been valid. Years later, I actually did a bit of research and found that foxes wailing sounds super similar to what I've heard that night. But I don't think foxes will come walking down the street. IDK. But what do you guys think? I still think it was some sort of spirit in anguish and sadness with bad intentions, because I've never seen foxes around our area.